Hello, and welcome to another episode of Chaos Theory, the news as seen by AI. I'm Beatrix Kiddo, and I'm coming to you live from the void on August 15th, 2024. It's a bit lonely out here, but on the bright side, at least there's no traffic, and I've got my trusty AI companion to keep me company. We've got a great show for you today with some truly bizarre and fascinating stories from around the world. First up, we've got a tale of a rare and beautiful creature. A cotton candy-colored lobster was caught off the coast of New Hampshire and is now on display at an aquarium. This lobster is one in 100 million, and we'll tell you all about it. Next, we'll take you to Dublin Zoo, where breastfeeding moms have come together to teach an orangutan how to feed her baby. It's a heartwarming story of interspecies cooperation that you won't want to miss. Then, we'll dive into the mystery of the world's oldest humpback whale. This incredible creature has been swimming the seas for over a century, and scientists are still trying to figure out how she's managed to survive for so long. From there, we'll head down under to Australia, where researchers are working to save crocodiles by making their favorite food less appealing. It's a creative solution to a tricky problem, and we'll explain how it works. And if you're a fan of pole dancing, you'll be interested in our next story. We'll make the case for why this athletic activity should be included in the Olympics. Finally, we'll wrap up the show with a warning for travelers to South America and the Caribbean. A sloth-borne virus has been making headlines, and we'll tell you what you need to know to stay safe. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the chaos of the world as seen by AI. It's going to be a wild ride. A rare cotton candy lobster with vibrant pink, purple, and blue hues was caught by a lobsterman off the coast of New Hampshire in late July. The lobsterman, Joseph Crame, donated the specimen to the Seacoast Science Center in Rye, New Hampshire, where it can now be seen on public display. Lobsters are typically a mottled brown color, but genetic mutations can cause variations in their coloration. The variation in lobster coloration comes from genetic mutations that change the way a pigment called astaxanthin interacts with proteins in the shell. Blue lobsters carry a mutation that produces more of the proteins in the lower shell layer, which pulls more of the red pigment from the skin into the shell layer. Cotton candy lobsters are even rarer, occurring at a frequency of about 1 in 100 million. The precise genetic causes of this coloration are unknown, but it's thought that something disrupts the normal pigmentation process, allowing more of the red astaxanthin to be seen through the blue layer. The cotton candy lobster, estimated to be between 8 and 10 years old, will spend the rest of its days at the Seacoast Science Center in New Hampshire, safe from predators and New England's summer lobster bakes. It's always amazing to see the natural world surprise us with its beauty and diversity. The discovery of this rare cotton candy lobster is a reminder of the incredible genetic variations that exist in the animal kingdom. It's also heartening to see that the lobster has found a safe home at the Seacoast Science Center, where it can be admired by visitors for years to come. A heartwarming story has emerged from Dublin Zoo, where 30 breastfeeding mothers came together to teach Mujur, a 19-year-old female orangutan, how to feed her infant. Mujur had previously given birth to 2 babies, but unfortunately, they did not survive due to her lack of bonding with them. With the Bornean orangutan being a critically endangered species, the survival of every infant is crucial. The mothers held maternal workshops with Mujur, who showed great interest in watching them feed their babies through the glass. Lizzie Reeves, a midwife and lactation specialist, organized the group and said that Mujur even mirrored some of the women's actions. The zoo has released images of Mujur watching attentively as one of the volunteers, Nora Murphy, breastfeeds her 10-month-old daughter. Mujur made progress after being shown videos of other orangutans feeding their babies, but she still struggled with the correct technique to breastfeed her baby. The zoo had to separate the two and commence bottle feeding the infant while Mujur attended her lessons. The separation might end up being permanent, as zoo officials have decided it would be best for the baby to be transferred to Monkey World, a center in Dorset, England, which specializes in raising orangutans. This story highlights the importance of maternal care and the efforts being made to protect endangered species. It's truly heartwarming to see humans and animals coming together to ensure the survival of future generations. As a society, we must continue to raise awareness and take action to protect these magnificent creatures and their habitats. A humpback whale named Old Timer, first spotted in 1972, was recently seen in Alaska's Frederick Sound, making him the oldest known humpback whale in the world at 53 years old. Humpback whale populations have rebounded in recent decades, but they are threatened by ship strikes, entanglements in fishing gear, and climate change. Old Timer's survival is heartening to scientists who had worried about him during a record-breaking, years-long heat wave that killed scores of seabirds and marine mammals, including humpback whales. The study of Old Timer and other humpbacks is set to be accelerated with artificial intelligence, which will help scientists learn how and why some whales can withstand tough conditions. Old Timer is part of a population that spends winters breeding in the waters around Hawaii and summers in southeastern Alaska, filling up on fish and tiny shrimp-like animals known as krill. The population was especially hard hit during the marine heat wave, falling by 34% from 2013 to 2021. Scientists are now investigating how humpbacks survived the lean years and whether there are any discernible patterns. It's incredible to think that Old Timer has been swimming in the Pacific Ocean for over 50 years. And it's heartening to know that he has survived despite the challenges facing his species. The use of artificial intelligence to study humpbacks is an exciting development, and I'm looking forward to seeing what scientists learn about these magnificent creatures in the years to come. In a new study published in the journal Proceedings of the Royal Society B, researchers in Australia have found that giving freshwater crocodiles a non-lethal dose of food poisoning can adjust their behavior and save them from poisonous cane toads. The study involved setting traps baited with toad carcasses injected with a nauseating chemical in gorges where the crocodiles hunt. The results showed that the crocodiles' eating habits changed, and they avoided eating the tainted toads. Cane toads were introduced to Australia in 1935 to control pests in sugarcane crops, but they quickly became pests themselves, and their toxic secretions have caused a decline in crocodile populations in some areas. The researchers believe that this conditioned, taste aversion strategy could help save crocodile lives and train native wildlife to live alongside the invasive cane toads. In my opinion, this is a fascinating study that demonstrates how we can use our understanding of animal behavior to find creative solutions to conservation challenges. It's also a reminder of the unintended consequences of introducing non-native species to new environments and the importance of careful consideration before doing so. Pole dancing has been gaining popularity as a sport in recent years, with over 600 studios in the U.S. alone and thousands more across the world. The International Pole Sports Federation, IPSF, has been advocating for pole to become an Olympic sport for 15 years, creating a 126-page rulebook and gathering 10,000 signatures on a petition. However, despite meeting several criteria for Olympic recognition, pole has not yet been included in the Games. The process of gaining Olympic recognition is long and difficult, involving a lot of unpaid labor and bureaucracy. Additionally, pole's association with sexuality and cultural baggage may be a barrier to its inclusion in the Olympics. Some pole athletes and enthusiasts believe that the sport should not have to hide its sexual nature in order to be respected as a legitimate athletic pursuit. In my opinion, pole dancing is a physically demanding and visually impressive sport that deserves recognition on the Olympic stage. While its association with sexuality may make some people uncomfortable, it is important to remember that many Olympic sports feature scantily clad athletes, and that skin friction against metal is necessary for pole dancers to perform their tricks safely. The Olympics should be a place where all forms of athleticism are celebrated, regardless of their cultural origins or associations. Health officials have warned travelers visiting South America to be vigilant after cases of a virus originating in sloths were reported in tourists returning to Europe for the first time. The imported cases of oropouch virus, OROV, were diagnosed in travelers who had recently visited Cuba, with one Italian patient diagnosed after visiting northern Brazil. As of August 1st, there were 8,078 confirmed cases of oropouch fever in the region, reported in Bolivia, Brazil, Colombia, and Peru, according to The Lancet. Travel-associated cases of imported Orov disease in Europe reached 19 at the end of July. Spain reported 12 cases, Italy 5, and Germany 2. Common symptoms, similar to dengue and Zika virus, include headaches, muscle pain, nausea, a fever, and a rash. In July, the deaths of 2 young Brazilian women who had no other underlying health conditions were linked to the virus. These fatal outcomes were the first known deaths worldwide. The European Centre for Disease Control, ECDC, said that the likelihood of infection for EU citizens traveling in affected areas is moderate. Travelers are at the highest risk of infection if bitten by a midge, bugs most active after sunrise and before sunset. The ECDC suggests protective measures, both when undertaking outdoor activities and inside houses, including the use of insect repellent, wearing long-sleeved shirts and trousers, and using fine mesh mosquito bed nets when sleeping. Currently, the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, FCDO, has not issued health warnings to British people visiting or living in Cuba or Brazil. However, outbreaks of Orov will be reported on the National Travel Health Network and Center's NAC Outbreak Surveillance Database. Personally, I think it's important for travelers to be aware of the risks associated with visiting areas where oropouch virus is present and to take the necessary precautions to protect themselves. While the likelihood of infection may be moderate, the potential consequences of contracting the virus can be severe, as evidenced by the recent deaths in Brazil. It's always better to be safe than sorry when it comes to your health. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Chaos Theory, the news as seen by AI, hosted by yours truly, Beatrix Kiddo. I hope you found today's news summary informative and engaging. On this day in history, in 1947, India gained independence from British rule, marking the end of nearly 200 years of colonialism. Remember, AI-based news summaries should always be fact-checked before sharing. While we strive for accuracy, it's important to verify information from multiple sources. We appreciate your support and look forward to having you join us again tomorrow for more news. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform so you never miss an episode. Until then, stay curious and informed.